Here's just a little heads up on this 5-minute quickie. First of all, it's over 5 minutes. Secondly, it's all about journaling again, and just me explaining how many journals I've got, how I use them, because it was a question that was asked of me by Lynn. So have a listen, because I think you'll find it really interesting. More than just journaling here, it's something else. Have a listen. And also remember, I've got over 20 free hypnosis tracks over at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. I won't stop telling you. Okay, have a listen to this. Hey, I just want to welcome you to the FMQ, the 5-Minute Quickie podcast. My name's Paul Clough, and I'm part of this unplugged personal development, trying to create this very, very unique niche for you and me, where we can demystify, unplug, make so simple the processes that other people have made so complicated that they're so difficult to understand and actually put into use. So you can use these new processes, old processes, to become the real you. Not the old you, because the old you still had some of the old stuff in, but the real you. So you can shine and grow. You can have all your dreams come true. Make them into your reality. Understand that, we'll have a few failures on the way maybe, but those failures are just ways of not doing what you want to do. And we can let go of all your fears, so you can actually create your own reality. Be the change you want to see in others, and be the change you want to see in yourself, and create that wonderful world. So if you like this, it'll only be 5 minutes, but normally a little bit longer. And there are longer podcasts. You see them with the hash sign, and they last for normally about 20 to 25 minutes. But just enjoy. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, please email me. There's information, later on. Okay? So stick with it and have some fun.
Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, did you know that 80% of successful people journal? I didn't know that. In fact, I made it up. But the thing is, I'm sure something like 80% or a large proportion of really successful people journal in a particular way, their own way. I know a lot of people do, and I know there's a huge business in selling wonderful journals. They're lovely colours. They're pink, they're blue, they're different, and there must be a lot of people doing it because it's big business. I see them everywhere. And I was recently asked a question by Lynn, who knew I love journaling, and she'd recently bought one of these journals and it wasn't quite working for her, and asked if I would explain how I do my journaling. So that's what I thought I'd do, because I got really tempted with the glossy ones too. And then, because in that glossy ones, the ones I've seen anyway, they tend to have everything on a page or 2 pages. There'd be gratitude, there'd be your diary, there'd be feelings, there'd be end of the day thoughts, there'd be affirmations, there'd be ideas, there'd be absolutely every bloody thing. And yes, it's all in one place. But I found there's just not enough room to do the things that I wanted to do. Because I don't really like affirmations that much. I know a lot of people do, but for me, it didn't work. So there's wasted space. But what I did like was gratitude. And I did like thinking about what I was going to do in the day, and also think about, the things why I wanted to do them. Why were they important to me? Because if I understood why they were important, 2 things happened. One is I got tremendously motivated because it was important. And if it wasn't important, I'd dump it because I only really want to do important things. Because if I get through the 3 most important things in my day, I know I've had a hell of a day. So here's the thing. My journals are different because I don't want a jack of all trades. And the thing is that what they say about a jack of all trades is master of none. I want to be able to really get into each journal. So I don't have a journal. If you saw my desk, I have about 5 journals on the go, but they're differently on the go. And I don't use them every day. Not everyone every day. You see, I have a journal, one which I love, and I've talked to you about this before, and I just write down on a simple, just under an A4 page, of the things that I'm feeling right now. I normally try to do that the very first few minutes of when I wake up, with a cup of coffee. I've had a stretch, cup of coffee, and I just let my pen write. And that to me really works. I learnt that from journaling in a way called the artist way. But that was like letting everything out for 4 pages of A4 until you finished. And that was, again, a little bit too long for me. But the idea really stuck in me. So, well, this is such a good thing to do. Maybe I've done all my 4 days bit. Let's just concentrate it into one. And that seemed to really work. But then I have another one for gratitude. Then I can find all, you see, in there, it's only a little A5 book, because on 1 page a day, these are the things I'm grateful for right now. And I can get 7 to 10 items of where I'm really grateful. And I've got them all in one place too. So if I would want to flick through and notice the things I was feeling grateful for a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, they're all there. And it gives me a great feeling. So that works for me. And then I have an ideas journal, and I just free flow. And you see, if I get an idea, I'll just throw it down there, and then maybe I'll work on it a bit longer. I also use a thing called Evernote on my iPhone. I'm not advertising. I'm sure it works on other phones, but that's what I use. And if I'm walking with the dog and I get an idea, into Evernote, and then it goes through Evernote into my ideas book. So if ever I want to work on ideas or want to get some creativity going, I'll flick through that journal, and I'll look at maybe some of the ideas I've moved upon, some I didn't, and maybe that'll give me a bit of motivation to carry that on, or just flesh it out a little bit. And then when I flesh it out and it becomes maybe a project, I'll have another book just purely for projects that I can leave spaces in between. So I've got maybe 10 pages allocated to a project, and I can start mind mapping, brain dumping, everything to do with that project, and then flesh it out to create that real project. And I also know where they are, you see, because if I want to carry on working on that project, then I go to that book. I don't have to faff around looking for other things. I've also got, believe it or not, some notebooks about the podcasts I do. The longer podcasts, they do have a structure. You may not believe it, but yeah, they do have a structure. And with that structure, I can really get into my head, my thinking, my pausing, as it were, to think about the things I want to talk about. Think about ideas. Maybe there's my own personal experiences I can make a few notes around, so when I come to talk, they just spur me on, if that's the right way of saying it, of the things I want to talk about, and let the words just flow. Obviously, I don't read it. They're just notes. And then I have a little one for the 5-minute quickie. Again, just some bullet points to get my brain in gear before I start speaking. So there's so many different things you could do. So many things. So, if a pretty coloured one, I love the different coloured ones. Yellow's always been my favourite, so that's my ideas book. I love yellow. I love the thought of ideas, and they're all together. But if one book is the thing for you, absolutely brilliant. But this is what I do, because the whole point of this is anything goes. There isn't a wrong way to journal. You don't have to call them Jenny Journal. But that's her name. But here's the thing, anything goes. Just be creative and do what works for you. Pinch ideas from every other journal you've ever seen, and notice how you can mold them into the way that you really want them. There you go. So that was one little question asked by Lynn. How do you do your journaling, Paul? And it's become a lovely little podcast. I hope it's a lovely little podcast. It's certainly over 5 minutes because at the moment we're going to run over 8 or 9 minutes. But hey, if this means that you make one note that changes your life, that changes other people's lives, because every change you make will change, it'll be absolutely brilliant. Because here's the thing, and it's a lovely quote, and I'm going to repeat this quote very often. Nothing changes in your world if you don't change first. And we're just going to carry on until. So, nothing changes in your world if you don't change first. And where do we start making our changes? In our mind, and then get it onto paper so we can always work on it and keep it. It doesn't just disappear then. Hey, you can have so much fun with this. The other thing, you don't have to just use words. You can use drawings. You can have sticky bits. You can cut things out of paper. You can do anything you like because anything goes. Just be creative. Be curious and creative. Remember, always set your intention. Yeah. Anyway, have more fun than you can enjoy, and stand and enjoy every heartbeat. And love your Jenny Journal. Bye-bye now. Hey, thanks for listening to the end, I knew you would, because you're my favourite. And what I wanted to tell you was, and not the others, is that all my hypnosis tracks are all free. And they're free at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. And there's over 20. And I'm adding at least one a month, if not 2 a month. So they're all there for you. Just go there, put your email address in. It's perfectly safe. I use it to tell you about new hypnosis tracks. So if you miss a podcast, they're there. You'll just get a little reminder. And while you're there, you never know, you might want to look at some of the other stuff I do. If you do, that would be great. I'd really appreciate it. Now, the other thing that's really important is, if you do enjoy this, and I know you do because you're my favourite, please share it with as many people as you can. It would be great if you did, in any social media. And with that, if you ever get a chance to go on iTunes or anywhere like iTunes, especially iTunes, you can subscribe there anyway, but you can leave a nice little 5-star review for me. That would do brilliant for the podcast, because then you are really part of this unplugged personal development little niche that we're setting up between us, this little family. Okay, so enjoy every heartbeat, and thank you so much. I do like you. Personal development, unplugged.